Good morning, afternoon, night, whatever time it might be for you guys. I am your host, Rental Man Buck. We are back on Rental Rocket Landscaping. We're going to be working today on building the construction of a memorial park. We are currently sitting on the map of Westbridge Hills. I got Kevin behind me hauling our brand new Dodge that we just ended up investing in. So let's get to the job site. I'll inform you guys what we're doing there once we arrive. Coming into town now, if you guys do not remember what Westbridge Hills is, Westbridge Hills was the original Titanium Edition expansion for Farm Sim 2013 back in the day. This is probably my favorite rendition I've ever seen of this map. I know the public park is directly to my left, but we kind of got to go around a little bit because of the way the roads are laid out in this town. I've also considered putting my landscape shop relocating it to Westbridge Hills. There's a lot of great places where you could have commercial buildings, and it just really opens the doors to, once again, modernize and change it up. So if you guys do like landscaping content, would love to see more, be sure to possibly smash that like button, maybe even subscribe down below. We're on that race to the 100K by the end of the year, and I'd love to bring more content like this to you guys. Either way, now that we're kind of finding out where we're supposed to be going, let's head down to the park and get our explanation started. We'll get everything unloaded within the next couple minutes. I just want to dive into showing you the layout of what is going to be going on with this public park. In the center of this cobblestone meet and greet area is actually going to be the new town memorial. Daryl, what are you doing outside of work? You said you couldn't show up today. Yeah, that's right. Just keep walking away. You do you, bud. But popping our map right in front of our screen, here is the plans that we have to attack. In the top right-hand corner, because it is north, south, east, west, we have our water tower, which is yonder. We also have our fountain, which is going to be standing in the center. But the first thing we got to work on is this little hillside over here is going to have a very special donation from the National Museum of Military Vehicles. They are going to be donating for the VFW Post 374 here in Westbridge Hills, an M26 Pershing. The M26 Pershing was a late World War II designed medium tank. In the World of Tanks world, it is considered a Class 8 medium American vehicle. It had a 90mm cannon on it, and it wasn't the most maneuverable, but it did have a bit more armor, weighing in just over 41 tons. So we have to do the groundwork to get the tank pad ready for the installation. They're bringing out a crane because this thing, it doesn't run, but you're not just going to be pushing 41 tons of dead steel. So I'll have to lift it and put it into place. And that means I got to get to work with my mulcher and the rake. So that way we can get that laid down and get the concrete pad poured. That's our first line of work. Let's get the skid steer off and start working.
She grew up fast in a breath or two. She was on her way out the door while her clothes were drying on a line outside the porch. With that worn-out truck and a lot of hope, she left one Thursday morn. Like the storm she came with, never let her go. God knows we didn't have much, but we gave all that we had to give. So just keep going, find your way in this world. If you need us, we'll be there. Keep on searching for your pot of gold. If you need us, we'll be there.
I know I've said it before and I'll say it again, but this JCB Teleskid is by far one of my favorite skid steers. I've actually gotten to drive one of these, so if you guys would like to go check out my last year's farm progress video that I ended up making, I did do a small little review segment over the Teleskid that I got to use at their booth. I do plan on being at Farm Progress this year. I don't have any reasons why I can't be there yet, so if that interests you guys, you want to stop by and say hello, head over to Boone, Iowa. I'm just hoping that this makes it leave almost like a seedbed texture. I've actually yet to use this thing and make it work properly. What kind of a texture does this leave? Oh, it does. It does take out the gravel just a little bit. It leaves it a little bit smoother. This pad is not going to be all concrete though. It is actually going to have some new freshly laid sod beside it. So we're going to also have to help out the park with their new irrigation system that they're going to be installing by getting the water pump system. I think it's set up on this backside behind the concession stands. But with all the raking done, I'm going to set this down. I believe all we have to do is get the concrete pad laid. And then after that, it's going to lay the sod. Park up the skid steer, get in the Dodge, head over and pick up some sod. And hopefully by the time we're back, they'll have the concrete pad poured so we can start letting it cure. And the tank can be brought over. I want you guys to hit down in the comments section though. If I were to move the landscape shop to Westbridge Hills, I almost want to just revamp all of the ways I do my businesses, and landscape is the last one to that field. So when I set this shop up, what should I prioritize more, or what kind of style should I go for? More regular cab trucks, more crew cab trucks, less equipment, more specified projects? Let me know down below, because I've worked with landscaping projects before, but I always felt like I did stuff all over the board. Like I never really specialized in something that the business would actually do. So I need your guys' help. Head down to the comments and let me know. Arriving now at the landscape supply, let's get these pallets of sod loaded up and back on our way. With our sod pallets loaded up, I kind of apologize. I would have shown the loading process, but I didn't realize that this trailer had some... I didn't realize that the trailer had some collision problems that I'll actually have to tweak around with to fit these things on properly. But this map does actually have a ball diamond as well as a drive-in movie theater. So there's just a lot of projects that we can really do on this map. And being that it's an original Giants map, there's not a lot of problems and it's really optimized. So we can start doing a bit more immersive projects because we're not worried about the game lagging. Kevin did give me the word that they are done pouring concrete. It's just a matter of the pads curing now. Meaning once we're back, we'll hopefully get that park mode out. And then we could also start tearing up all of the old sod and putting in some new stuff so we can then better make the presentation look fantastic.
The next day.
With it being a brand new, bright and sunshiny day, I do have some updates for you guys. The last pallet of sod is going to be laid around our tank pad, which turned out fantastic. I mean, I couldn't have asked for this pad to turn out better than it did. But on a sadder note, that lady's legs are apparently broken. We weren't able to showcase the process of getting the yard mowed just for privacy reasons and safety because we are not authorized to do anything out here. I will show you guys though on the side of our, I still can't figure out if this is like an ATM, a information area. Either way, we do have our new water pump system figured out for all the sprinklers, the new sprinkler heads that have been installed. This is the main shut off and turn on point. We could schedule our times that we want to water. We also can manage all of our water bills from here because our meter has been moved to this location. They do have on order a flagpole that will be standing just behind from the M26. Over on this far side, though, we do also have to start the construction of the memorial garden, otherwise known as a cancer garden. This is for people to go and honor their loved ones, whether they passed away in the line of service or they passed away from some sort of illness. It's a meeting place. You can really just feel humble and at home. So we'll start also working on the groundbreaking for that while that pad is curing. So I'm going to grab the skid steer once more, get out the mulcher, and get to work. doing some very indecisive choices, going back and forth trying to get whatever I really wanted this place to look like. Here is our memorial garden. In the center, we obviously have a big stone pad that also is housing a bunch of white and red flowers. We got some lavender up on top in the center. I did change this statue because I forgot which one I actually placed, but we do have a statue of Mary alongside with the American flag and just a little bit of extra decor. We also did put in a bunch of concrete flower pots and 3 wooden benches, plus 2 on each side of each entrance. Just a nice little small wooden bench with some flower pots to really bring the whole thing together. 2 little trash cans so we can properly dispose of our waste. And that's really all we needed to do. We're not going to be putting in any pathway lights. We didn't have any orders to do that. But now that we have all of this work done, I think it's time that we jump ahead to this afternoon because it's going to take a little while for the museum guys to get here. Let's get that M26 installed so that way we can also start working on our flagpole and then finishing out with the main monument statue that'll be going right front and center. Getting confirmation that our tank is on its way. It should be here within the next 45 minutes. We're going to start getting this bad boy set up because this is the only thing that's going to be able to get that tank up and off the ground. It is a Grove GRT 655. This thing will have plenty of power and lift capacity to get our M26 out and off the trailer. If you guys don't recognize what this red crate thing is that I actually have in front of me, that is right off of the Case Trident sprayer pack that you guys can use to lift the fertilizer spreader up on top of the case. So by using the 4-post mounted chain, we're going to be able to really make this process as immersive as possible. Once we get this crane into position, I do not want to move the thing at all as much as possible because we're going to try and put the tank on the trailer as close to this pad so we don't have to try and push it, don't have to move it. This thing is, everything is just boom. Other than getting the quick change tool in position, we're going to jump over with the drone, catch some shots of the tank in transportation, and we'll see you guys once we start getting that thing off the trailer. After some possible bribery and maybe some sweet talking, they let me back up the military truck. I got to get around these cones though, and without, destroying anything. But this Pershing is possibly one of the coolest things I've seen, at least go into the park. Usually a lot of the times when you get a tank, you get like an M4 Sherman or a Chaffee. These Pershings, they did not make nearly as many of those because, it wasn't really a major production model. But I think the guys down at the VFW really put in a good word for us to be able to acquire this tank. So big thanks to our gentlemen down at the VFW and to all veterans for that matter. But we have a couple spectators that are trying to watch us unload this tank, but they're not really going to get very far if they just keep standing in the line of fire. Should just be a little bit of an extension. We'll drop it down and get this thing picked up. Just want to make sure all of our points of contact are secure to the body of the tank, so we're just lifting it right up and setting it on the pad. Easy does it. We are successfully airborne. I'm not too sure exactly how far this thing can reach out before we start having problems with the weight. They're saying 41 tons is a lot of weight to be flinging around. Get this thing closer to our landing pad. We're not having any problems just yet. Daryl is definitely not making himself useful in any way, but I'm starting to feel the weight on the back of this thing. So we're going to have to really, really watch what we're doing. Just give it a quick little rotate towards the front. Is that where we want it? That's about as close as we're going to be able to get it. Definitely a good spot to put that. That's like you couldn't have asked for a better place to put that tank. Well, let's get the chains unmounted from the mantlet and the chassis, and we will get this crane back on its way home. Let me know down in the comments though, guys, if you would possibly like to see more content based around military vehicles. I know Farm Sim doesn't really have a whole lot of stuff, and I don't have a lot of military experience myself, but one thing that I really do like is content based around tanks. I played World of Tanks growing up as a high schooler, a middle schooler, used to play in tournaments, and if there's one thing that I love more is just talking about tanks. So if that content does interest you guys, let me know down in the comments, as I would love to bring back some World of Tanks content, whether that just be voiceovers of gameplay, or we could do maybe even some live streams. I believe our next task is to get the main monument structure set up, so we'll have that done on order, and we'll catch back with you guys here in just a little bit.
A few moments later.
With Old Glory flying high with her brand new flagpole, the last thing that we also put up is the massive new statue. This statue was very generously donated by the town board. Its memorial purposes is to help connect with those who have lost anybody, again, whether it is in the line of duty or through something like an illness or a tragic accident. They haven't gotten the engraved parts that go on this gold panel yet, but we did do a little bit of landscaping with some flower pots and some extra plants we picked up from the landscape shop where we picked up our sod. I think it really centers and pulls the rest of this park together. We didn't do a whole lot in this park, but we did just enough to really help bring that community together one bit more. So that is going to do it for this episode, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. If you did like this, please again consider maybe dropping a like down below. That is going to do it for me, all. Be sure to check out the Boomstick Club for all the up-to-date content from me and the gang. You already know who is in it. I shall see you guys all in the next one. This is the Rental Man out.